there. I mean, our friends. Parameswaran.
You're on Facebook now.
Okay. Yeah. So here we go. Welcome everyone. Welcome Nandakumar ji and welcome everyone. Nandakumar ji's family members from I just noticed the conversation. So from whole of joined this meeting. Thank you very much for coming on time. So here, this is the 34th week of this program, which we started during the lockdown times, the weekly presentation of artists. And today we have a senior artist like Mr. Nandakumar. Okay, so just to for those people who don't know him, he did his BFA from Trivandrum Fine Arts College and then went on to do his masters from Baroda, and then an illustrious career afterwards, which I think he will his works will speak for himself, you know, his career. So without much ado, I would like to hand over the stage to Mr. Nandakumar. Thank you for accepting our invitation, and here everything is for you.
Thank you. Hi, thank you, Satish, Sujit, all friends and relatives. I'm very, very happy to present my artworks to you. And in a way, it is actually, I am the one who pushed for the show. Yeah, I asked them whether I can also show my artwork. So I don't know whether I'm an invited artist. Whatever. I think it is my right. Can you all see my screen now?
Yeah.
And am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Then I don't have to worry about entering people. That's what
No, we will do.
Okay. Yeah. So Satish and me had a small chat day before yesterday. Yeah. So Satish said that to show this work in the first as a first slide.
Yeah. Can you just keep your camera? Can you just keep your camera a little up, because it's right.
Okay.
Done.
Okay. I actually changed the the level of the computer.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So I've been working as a sculptor maybe for I think 30 years. That's what when we calculated when the online started. You know, we all remembered together saying that when we were in Trivandrum, 84 to 88. Then we reached Delhi after studies about 30 years ago. So that was a boiling time. You all know, those who are aware about art. The radical group just started and almost ended by the end of 80s, early 90s. And no galleries, no much of job or money to earn. So we all end up in Delhi to get a teaching job or whatever small job what possible to get in. So that's the way we started. It was a good time. I think Delhi was the best time which I had in my life, because I think I created most of the work which I really like in Delhi. Later on, I've been doing things like this, which I don't know where I'm heading and what the point is. Well, one thing I'm happy, or I feel better, because I never stopped working. At least whatever possible way. If my studios are on upstairs, then I always try to do some painting or smaller sculptures. And had an exhibition here and there once in 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, and all. So this work, when Bose and Riaz started discussing about Biennale in Kochi, we were all in Delhi. We used to meet in Mumbai. So I said, no, whatever you do, I'm going to have my own show there, somewhere nearby. So, but it is hard because I have a teaching job. I get a month or 2 weeks holidays, or need to find out things. But I'm quite confident. I really enjoyed working in site-specific installation. I think that is the best thing which I always liked. So interact with the space you have, interact with the mood the space create. Yeah. So I decided to do a collateral show at Kochi during the first Biennale. That gallery space is now became a student's Biennale space. Mm-hmm. It is this gallery. If you have been there in these years, it is this gallery. So it is, yeah. So the compound which we found, because we were looking for a place to have the exhibition, and of course we could not rent any. We never had a plan to rent and spend too much of money on it. But accidentally we saw a compound of a temple, which is just below the um, Matanjeri Palace, Dutch Palace, which is completely overgrown and nobody using kind of place. So we just asked them, can we actually just clean this compound as our artwork for a month? They were doubtful. They were really doubtful because yeah, you won't believe. I think at least two people from every political party came and inquired about what are you doing here? Why are you doing this? All these kind of things. We said we are just cleaning it. So it was fun. But the interaction was so good, so great. I will not show you all the slides in that because we should take it further and think of what is art, how a piece is becoming an artwork, then whether it is good art or bad art, and either my art or someone else's art. It doesn't matter. It is art as a universal truth or something. We can look at it and we can talk about it. Yeah, so we had this pond. Every slide, if you look at, I can actually talk about 2-3 minutes with the stories. I will say some important stories, then we'll go ahead. In between, if there is any question, I don't think I'll be able to look the chat box, but somebody can just inform me. Yeah, I think anyone can ask any question at any moment. If you're as a student or if you're a newcomer, I always ask, whenever you see go for an exhibition, whenever you see your 10 or 15 artwork, try to make sure to choose one as you think it is the best. This is me being teacher, yeah, because the kind of learning and being appreciative about it, and try to be critical, ask some critical questions. Okay, in this pond, I made a sculpture, which is the design of another pond, which is inside. So this pond, which you see, is 100 meters away from the backwaters in Matanjeri. And this water is still sweet water. Amazing things. But this was not used for 20-25 years. It was completely, so I had to, this picture is actually about cleaning that. So then we digged it down, then to keep the sculpture in. Yeah. So my interests are, I'm minimal art a lot and process. Marshall Duchamp, I consider as the greatest teacher or master which I have. And Iva Hesse, and these all are the few artists which I may have to mention about it. Yeah, so always an object being an artwork. What is different between an object made by someone else becoming an art? How the context changes? And all this is what every time I play around. Every sculpture is a questioning of my own existence or art's existence in me. If you want, okay, now the biggest problem with this, to holding it down without floating it out, because this is 5 feet deep. It's like a boat, if there is no water in it, floats up. Mm-hmm. So we have to actually put about 600 kilos of metal inside to hold it down and onto a pillar which we created at the bottom. It looks simple. And the funniest moment is when the tide comes, the water level changes and water comes to the brim sometime. That is of course, I don't have all those pictures. So, yeah, so this is the Kochi exhibition first. And there was some old building, which I told you, this nobody was using such places. So there was an old broken place, which usually for Shanti, for pujaris to stay over. So there were 2 missing pillars. I made 2 pillars, conceptual pillars, what you can say. This is a measuring chain, British chain, what we call, used to measure the land. And Now this is becoming much more interesting because I can say this is a vaccine tubes. It's medicinal bottles, about 200. So I had to stick each one of them and make a imaginary pillar for an old building. Another one was a room which was open. We never had an intention to do something in this. My plan was to do something around the pond, but it ended up hanging. When we opened up, we saw there is another huge room with no doors, falling apart. Then I said that we need to celebrate the decay. I mean, so when we it was hanging in this, it's almost like a public space. It is a 9 feet long chandelier, glass chandelier, which I made myself and exhibited there for 1 month. The second picture is actually taken from Madhu, our artist who was talking other day. The commitment of public is amazing. You know, one lady who used to come and do the cleaning, when she saw the mud and all very dirty floor here, she said, no, I can put cow dung here and make it beautiful. So it's supposed to be just some abstract symbolic designs. Yeah. We could read many stories. We could add stories. That is the beauty of when you work with the place, because the place, the person looking at it, all matters. In the second, in 14 again, it's not me. Actually, the public there started asking me, hey, sir, when are you coming to do the installation art in second year? Because I got really thoroughly cleaned that place, and the people started using it. So my wish was to redo the pond. But so we got the measurement, and according to Vastu, because it was based on temple, and this is also known as Patrakulam. The temple used to feed about 5,000 people every day in the good old days, and they just chunked the plates and the old vessels, cooking vessel, into the pond, so the fishes get it washed. That was the story. So they could not kill the pond. That is a good thing. So my plan was to make the pond, but too expensive to us. It was at that time. It was somebody said 14 lakhs rupees, and also I didn't even think about it. But I thought I will. So this was the room that the chandelier was hanging for a month. There's no doors, cows and dogs and anything could come. But then I managed to repair that room and make that into an art gallery. So now every year, whenever there is a Kochi Binale happening, last 2 years, I think students Binale was happening in these rooms. So this time I called this show, second year Kochi Binale. Do we need to break, or should I continue like this?
Continue.
Okay. Yeah, so wiring, it was fun. Yeah, in the second year when I started, more community participation was there. So we called it a community museum.
Sure.
So my interest were at least to get people involved. And I did get, because as I go forward, I think there will be some examples what others were exhibiting. Some of the objects here on this, this is collected from Tumble. These some vessels and some hanging things here and there, that all local public started bringing in. It's again questioning the existence of art. Why not? So I had lots of visitors coming and saying that, oh, this looks like a real museum. I mean, it's not a museum, everything in the glass box. Instead of that, it's an open museum. And another beautiful thing, the other side of this window is the temple. So in the morning, people open this door and all this devotees come into the art gallery. It's real fun. Then they come, they will have their own way of looking at it. And often when you keep something at this window sill, your view get really more interrupted. This is not a whitewashed, air-conditioned, closed gallery. So that was the whole idea. Gallery is opening. I mean, the window, you will see what is on the other side. You're viewing will become a completely altered viewing. Yeah, that is again, it is the sculptures usually have it in the gallery when you keep it. But again, there's a limit, only those who are in the gallery, when they walk around, you will watch them as a part of sculpture. That's it. But even that much, nobody's really consciously thinking. That's the problem. So for here, it's the real public who is coming. Anything, everything can. I had a terracotta workshop for the kids who are coming every day in the morning. This is another room near the big room. And I had the traditional Kalamiruthu artist, two of my friends. They came and did a kalam for me. Of course, I had to, it's real, using the real material. I mean, if you really know about it, this is all used with rice, haldi, and all different organic materials. It smells really.
Nandakumarji, there is a question like that museum which you showed, like near the temple, is it open at all times?
Pardon?
That the museum which is adjacent to the temple which you showed, was it open at all times? Was the question.
No. Only during Binale, somebody have an exhibition there. But you can go and visit this place because there's nobody to look after. This is a public space. Yeah, I mean, we can rent it. Yes, we can. So this time also, during the Binale time, I think somebody rents it. So this temple gets some money out of it. This time I had a plan to go back with some of my Dutch friends. But again, the whole plan didn't work. Yeah, it's not like a museum. It's no more. It was only a conceptual exhibition. Yeah. Yeah, now these all are the objects I got it from the temple. So when I asked people to give me any object which they like, but I said you need to add a story with it. So this is very Dushambian, right? Dushambian, should I explain Duchamp a little?
Yeah, please.
Okay, Duchamp is a Dadaist artist who exhibited a urinal as an artwork. He was the most revolutionary artist, according to me, and he Marshall Duchamp, if somebody wants to Google it. So he exhibited a urinal, and that became a revolutionary artwork. So, because do you need to make an art? And what is art? Whether everything is abstract or not? Or is the story behind the object is make it art? Or the context? Story, when I say story, the context. Or the visuals. Okay, now visuals, if everything beautiful is art, now all these questions he started answering. So my interest when I do art is this. Hi, Stepan. So now stories. No, this one is a poha. I mean beaten rice. This is the grinding stone for beaten rice, because the rice when you hit the rice with the stick, it need to have a wooden base. If it is metal or a stone, it breaks into. And the most important thing, somebody said, oh, this is the biggest coconut around, and they give me one, and I kept it. I just kept a coconut there. But then many others started saying, giving me coconut, saying, no, we have a bigger coconut in this area. And they started bringing coconut. So I kept 2 or 3 for different reasons, because also the small simple thing with a hole in it. The whole is a whole, kind of. This is the most important piece in this exhibition. It looks very simple, very absurd, very abstract, because there's a story related with this. So they said this is the coconut measure. So through after opening the coconut, can you see my cursor, by the way?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So after using the opening the coconut, if you put through this, it should not pass through. That is the size of the coconut they use for every day's Ganesh Puja in that temple. I mean, we call it Ganapati Homam. Yeah, the story is like that. So there was a very great priest. So he used to have thousands of coconut every day, putting into Havan for Ganesha. But what happens after every day's puja, people get things back as prasad, right? But after this priest, nothing was coming back. Then people got confused. Like, what is this? This guy is cheating. I mean, he's taking away all the coconut and making us fun of it. But priest said, no, Ganpati is coming in this life form and eating this all. I can't help it. But then they started laughing at, what are you saying? You know, we know Ganpati can't come and eat this all. Okay, then they went to king. King said, okay, I need to go and check it, because anyway, if a Ganpati comes, then that's great. I can see Ganpati. Otherwise, I can catch hold of this crook. So that was the story. But then when king went to the performance, the priest said, please be careful. If something happens, don't open your eyes. Yeah. So king said, who are you to tell me? I know what to do. Yeah, that kind of attitude. King sat there. It is true that actually Ganesha was coming in and having this coconut. So the moment Ganesha came, king forgot to shut his eyes and he became blind. So I take this. Then they said, no, this is the particular wood base where they used to measure the coconut, because when they say 1,000 coconut, you tend to bring many small coconut. No, need to be as big as this. It should not pass through. And I got really thrilled with the story, because this is about seeing. If you can see an artwork and if you can become blind, that would be the best and the last seeing. Why do you want to see anything more? Because as a visual artist, why do we actually need to see if you really become blind after seeing something? You know, so this whole exhibition started teaching me to look at things differently, to question things differently, my existence and the way art developed further. Oh, sorry, this is a very early work which I did in Trivandrum, just to show as a sample, maybe to prove that I can also do such things. And the second one, these are the works which I just want to show you my final show in Baroda. So I had a tendency to make things very big using plaster of Paris and exhibited it outside. If you've been to Baroda, this pond is still there, I think, that I've never been there. And Gandhi is here. Shankochar is Gandhi. Yeah, if you know that place. So this is the easiest thing to do, because you can have some bamboos and wrap it up with plaster. Of course, you cannot move it and all. But I did large scale sculptures like this. I think my interest is in abstraction. There's always one crow in all the sculptures. You know why it is. Yeah. 93, Delhi. I told you that was the time for many of us. We had Rimson came back, Soman and Abhimanyu as our seniors, and many others. Vivan Sundaram started doing his installations and all. So Delhi was a good time. So we used to stay in a room, live there, sculpt there, eat there, go in the morning to school. Somewhere in Lakshmi Nagar I was staying. So we talk most of the time in the afternoon. After school, we are in Mandi House, looking to libraries, going to library, discussing art, criticizing. Or most of the time we criticize others. But I think that was a very healthy life we had. And maybe that is what's missing now. So we don't, now we just say yes, no, good, bad, and we stop it there. Our gallery started revolving around, art started revolving around the galleries and the sales and all, which wasn't there luckily before. So I call it real corner. One day I took a rubber mold of a room in our living place. Actually, this is Merlin, Abhimanyu's wife's studio it was. So I took a rubber mold of the corner and recasted that in fiber and kept it in a corner. A corner fits into any other corner. Corner is self-reflection, and corner has very personal connection with most of us. You may get cornered, symbolically very feminine. If you look at long time, it comes out, goes in. It's very minimal in that way. That's what I could never make anything better than this for last. Maybe I'm trying to do something like that, but this was. I think everyone also liked it. Maybe because of that, I think, oh no, this was a kind of an idea which just came it like that, and.
So there is a question for you from Shanti. She's asking why that crow in the previous sculptures.
Okay, what else Kerala can see when you go out on the trees and electric posts? Nothing very simple. Also, you know, if you want more artistic answer, Bruegel's painting, Bruegel, one of the painting, there's a crow. One of the part of that sculpture is actually from Bruegel's painting. There's a crow sitting on it. Crow relates with, and that sculpture is about Nachiketa questioning the death. So crow is always related with that. Nachiketa is from Katha Upanishad. Yeah. So crow is some kind of, you know, there's an evil intention too. Sorry. Another sculpture. So always sculpture never comes as it is. So we jump from one idea to another within 6 months. Or every piece, I remember maybe it was Mr. Kanai Kunjaraman, who was our teacher in Trivandrum. He said, no, every second piece should be a different piece. So that somehow stuck into my mind. But when I showed these sculptures to others, I said, why these all are different? There's nothing similar. So that actually, I don't know whether it's good or bad, but this is completely different piece. Influence is Jungian ideas of dream analysis. Jung, there are two pieces related with it. So Jung is talking about what is dream, what is the body. So I had conceptually, the sculpture is in this. I had a dream of a sculpture which is a broken electric bulb and a shaving brush coming out of it. No clue what it is. But you are reading Jung, so you don't have a choice. You have to make something out of it. So I made that, and I kept it hidden in this water. And I kept on adding different things into it. Then I exhibited the body. Maybe the soul or the real content is somewhere inside. So that is another sculpture which I have it somewhere, but I almost lost it. As I said, the process is, this is again, whatever I'm showing, it is maybe 6 years life in Delhi, whatever I made it in Delhi. These are playing marbles, about 500 to 1,000. I didn't even count it. Painted globe on each of them. So this is very, very much connected with one of the work what Iva Hesse did. Iva Hesse kept some seeds, something like that on a kerchief, about 20 of them as an exhibit. That was shocking for me too. Of course, when we talk about artists, we should all remember that we haven't seen any of this in real. Most of our informations are from the book or from someone else talking about it. So this I painted globe and made a bag which is red again and exhibited in a corner. So corner, I had one solo show in Delhi in 96. No, I mean 95 maybe. But I don't have a picture of that because even taking a picture of those days is quite a big thing. But then luckily, Vivan Sundaram Geeta came for the show. They really liked my corner and all these sculptures. So then they give me an exhibition. There was a gallery called Birla Art Gallery at Worli in Mumbai. So this is 96, my solo show in Worli. I'm just showing these all because two of these pieces, I don't even have a proper picture of those. So, but that's fine. We don't have to see everything. Yeah, now the scale is the sculpture which I made in Delhi. So I brought this back into Kochi because I know this is a kind of gimmicky piece. The question is, how does it stand? So there is some magic, some storytelling. So, and I always believe that, the stories are stories, so you can actually fake it. So when kids come, I used to tell them, okay, this is Hanuman holding it. The story with different people can be different. So again, this locals coming, traveling around, they come into, this is the Kochi exhibition. So this was there in the beginning. So they are finding out, how does this stand? It is, yeah, if you still don't know that, that's a huge magnet at the top.
Okay.
Again, very Iwa Hesse influenced art process art. One thing which I need to also tell you that I think my base is very very religious, very ritualistic. My upbringing was like that, so we mostly did things for others than doing ourselves. And there's always a reason, a story behind it. Okay, you get up early morning for some reasons, and then we believed we did it. So most of the thing you do, yeah, you question, but then it's not a questioning of which to stop what you're doing. So this is a rope is supposed to be a bad omen in our culture. So Shankara and I'll talk about the story about the Maya, which is, he said, when he realized the serpent is not a serpent but it is a rope, you know that what Maya is. So that's why I was very interested in using a rope. But what I did, this kind of transforming, that is what Joseph Beuys, another artist, Joseph Beuys, a German artist, which we looked at a lot. So Joseph Beuys can be considered as second Marshall Duchamp, right? So I'm explaining such things because there are some people who I know that are not aware about Joseph Beuys. Sorry for those who know about him. So this another artist who was in Delhi during those days is Soman, KP Soman. KP Soman is still working. So he did 2-3 exhibitions. One is called Aesthetics of Ahimsa and Aesthetics of Adulteration, another show. So he just brings small little things, and on a table the show is over. It's a big place, but it's just so it is a very conceptual. Now actually I talked to him, he's saying that now conceptually crafted, something like that. That is what he's talking about it now. Yeah, so this what I did, I took a rope. It's heavy rope. I mean, you can try to make a knot on it, then you realize it actually hurt your finger. It's much, maybe it's difficult than doing a painting, Sujit. Okay. No, so what I'm saying, the first note, each note need to be beaten with a hammer, otherwise it's really hard to get. So what I did, the rope, the bad omen, I made 108 knots on it and transformed that into a rosary.
Uh-huh.
Another Jungian idea. Yeah, so again, this is what we have been trying to be different every time. I don't know. Maybe Kunjaraman's influence, we want to do something new or something challenging to the viewer. And so this one, again, I was reading this related with Jung's dream analysis. So Jung says that according to a dream, you can measure your spiritual or mental ability. No, not ability. What you say, the limit or the stand or your reach. So I consider this, because the images which came in mythology are very interesting. They are not just coming as a story, but there will be some reasons. Earlier it was tantric images. Maybe Raja Ravivarma made them into more concrete pieces, more which we can imagine. So now we are imagining a Saraswati as Saraswati because of Raja Ravivarma, but earlier it was a completely mostly abstract. The ideas were abstract. We had written words, but later on, maybe 1,000 years ago, we also made sculptures. But before that, it was the written abstract ideas. So according to me, and the funniest thing, this is the Trivandrum, Padmanabha temple, Trivandrum idol, Vishnu, and the eyes were open. which I didn't understand. Why should he sleep with open eyes? That was first question. So I tried to close the eye. Then to symbolize this as a dream, I made a moon in the middle. Then yeah, so he according to me, if you yourself can have a dream like you are as a Vishnu sleeping on a serpent, that could be the highest stage of spiritualism you can reach. I still believe in enlightenment. Maybe there is a possibility. We can debate on it. Yeah, poster was very simple, very painted very roughly, but I made a very beautiful frame for it, and that's why maybe people liked it.
Atul Todi also did something with this image, no? The same image.
Yes, yeah. Vishnu.
Yeah.
That's what I saying. The artist, also the artist, he painted a Joseph Beuys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the this thing, Brahma
Yeah. Yeah, but now he become very popular because of the richest temple, right?
Yeah, I think Dusham he painted. Dusham, I think.
Yeah, Dusham also he painted. Yeah. No, what I'm saying, the Trivandrum temple became very popular because of the treasure which we found, right?
Yeah, true.
But you should also remember one thing. There are lots of experience when we were traveling into different temples and all, which I think we will try to get into it. Yeah, I tried to make a human figure, which took a long time. It is flat from back. Still, eyes, nose, and all were difficult. I mean, it's not difficult because I didn't have a reason to. So at the end, I made a blind boy on a skating shoe, so that it could be more. I remember Mr. Akbar Padamshri came for the exhibition. My intention, actually, he understood. Maybe he played as a kid. So when he came, he actually pushed this and started keeping it in different places in the gallery. So that was the whole point when I was putting the shoe. Nobody had the courage to touch because we have a belief that you should not touch. Okay, no, that's the reason is, again, it is the context, which is, even if you, artwork might not make you a good appreciator, but at least it should bring the child in you. When you look at an artwork, something should be, maybe it should be tasteful or something, some rasam should be there, rasa. I mean, that should come over. You know what rasa, which I said, right? And we were talking about rasa theory and all for a long time. And if you're forgetting about that when you're doing artwork, I don't know. Yeah, again, different material. The Bombay exhibition was huge. The gallery was huge, and solo show, there are lots of small things which I need to put up. So this was my statement, because earlier, if you have traveled in Mumbai, you know that there used to be advertisement for abortion. So now when I calculate about 40 years ago, abortion, to local trains will, maybe 35 years ago, you could do abortion for 1,000 rupees. And at the last days, when coming closer and closer, I saw you can actually do abortion for 100 rupees. That was the last poster which I saw in the trains. That was shocking. Now you don't see that posters. So also this is 90s, 90s. You know why the abortion is becoming so popular. So I made my fashion statement, using my mother's, my wife's, and I didn't have that baby girl now, but she is here now. So this is for baby girl. Panda. Yeah, so I mean, even the fashion and all, that's what I don't know if it is too arrogant to say, but the fashion could be more functional, more meaningful, more. There are some fashion designers, you said, instead of just visual. I mean, even when you dress up, that is why Joseph Beuys or Gandhi was actually the best designer we had, according to me. I mean, he popularized khadi. I mean, he was the greatest artist also. Why only a designer? He was one of the most important artists. The greatest performance he did. Walking 200 kilometers. Is it 200? 30 kilometers, something like that. No, so what are we asking for as a Gandhi? I mean, related with a bird's play or like a movie or as so instead of transforming a rope or a small piece of stone, he actually transformed old nation. So what are you talking that he is the greatest artist according to me? Yeah, another, this was my first installation experience after my show. Anida, we had the first group installation exhibition in Kamani Auditorium in Delhi. It was curated by Anita Dubey, Rimson, Vivan, lots of artists who were there at that time took part. And luckily, I got an invitation to exhibit. Yeah, most of the places were taken, all the front rows and everything was gone. So what I got an abandoned corridor, which I found I'm actually lucky to have the street light. So what I did, and this was about to do something related with street in Delhi. So we had a pile of orange, which Anida Dubey exhibited. And Rimson had an installation with lots of different colored pagidis. And if you want more about it, yeah, this is some furniture which was lying in that corridor. I just covered it, kept it as every time whenever you see a room, for me it relates with my own mind or my own brain inside. So the unknown, fear, or something like that. That is what I would like to represent with this unknown object here. Of course, there is light far away. And again, this was very much influenced by a Trans-Siberian Railway. It is in German, one of the Joseph Beuys installation, Trans-Siberian Railway, which is, you look through peep through a small two holes. And when you look at for a long time to any object, your eye gets tired and it splits through. The image is split through. So that was the video. It's a very simple video of Joseph Beuys. So that was the reason that was, when I saw this place, that is what evoked me to do something like this. Yeah, later on we had the sun in Delhi, I mean, Tate Gallery in Modern, the big sun, turbine hall sun.
Oliver,
yeah. That's after this, Sujit.
You did first.
Yeah, going back to Kochi. Yeah, this is the gallery. One thing which I realized in Binale was all about whitewashing the wall. Many whole places got whitewashed, cleaned. Yeah, so when I got somebody to whitewash. So yeah, so and then I started bringing in, and meanwhile I started making some stone sculptures because I used after staying in coming back to Mumbai and then to Pune, I became a regular visitor to Ajanta Ellora. Ajanta Ellora was, now there's no other reason you needed to do stone sculptures, and I used to go around and pick stones from the road and anywhere else, whichever stone I got. And sandstone, it is not that precious stone. I mean, very, very hard stone, which breaks very quick, but it is hard to carve. So I started carving. So I put many of this carving also in this, with the objects in my exhibition, which added to the story. So the pillar what you are seeing are cubes. So as I said, the corner which I made, that was, it came back to me again and again. What is this enclosed space I'm talking? How do you get the same feeling again? Because if I get a chance, I think I want to do more cubes now. I will try. I want to do many different ways of the corner, but then you don't need to, because all the pieces which I'm doing is lying with me, so I'm not in a hurry. I can do that slowly. So this cubes can be various. I started making it with different craftsmen. First set of it, I made it in a craftsman in Kerala. This one. See, now this is made by hand. It's old copper and calicut. So this person, this is just an idea which is in mind. I'm walking around to different places. But this guy made this openable cubes for me. You can open each of this cube. I related, whenever you see a cube, okay, remember Carl Andre, the
Yeah.
sculptor, which I always looked at it. Repetition comes, most of the minimal artists did a cube. And cube for me, it is also relates, I started making during the Iran-Iraq war as a symbol of Kaaba. If you keep a cube, you can consider it as a Kaaba. It's very Islamic. If you put a hole, it could be in front of a temple, like a donation box. And if you open it, it becomes a cross. So it is. I mean, this all thing. I never planned this whole thing. I added by other people giving me ideas and many different reasons. It is nothing intentional. When I made the cube, I start with all the emotions which I have. It's nothing intellectual to start with. Starting with emotion, and I travel as we are doing things. We have, as a sculptor, we get lots of time to work on a piece. So then, as traveling, we add ideas. So this, I call it seven mothers. If you know seven mothers, Sapta Matrikas, and empty bowls, which again symbolize a womb. And yeah. Cube, this one cube, then I actually have about 70 cubes now, because I also made one set of cube in a factory. But this each dot here, hit is done by a person. But I had a factory in Pune. They made 60 of them, openable. It's lying here and there. So one cube always traveled with me. This is in Tiananmen Square. When I went for a workshop there, not art workshop, a teacher's workshop. Yeah, so you know that, many artists, when they go to Tiananmen Square, they want to take a picture there, right? IYY and it. 6-inch cube never changes the. I have 100 reasons for the cube if you want to listen. Cube never changes the size. It is very pop in a way. If you repeat it, it gets better. All these concepts, but. Yeah, then, as I said, traveling to Ajanta Ellora, Buddha stories, everything is written. And this is another place, Mr. Satish, if you want to travel with us, I'll take you to Ajanta Ellora. I'm a good guide there to take you guys, if you want.
Thank
you. The Buddha, when he got enlightened, he started traveling in different places. He used to have one meal a day, whatever house he got. That's it. Nothing to doubt about it. Eat, whether it is vegetarian, non-vegetarian meal. The worst part is he actually died of food poisoning. Stories. Yeah. So when Buddha traveling to a place called Sharavati, the king there was extremely arrogant or so naive. He said, "Why are you asking for a day's meal? You can actually ask for all this country. I'm ready to give it to you. I'm your disciple." But Buddha said, "No, I need just one time meal." And this is the begging bowl, right? Buddha's begging bowl. It's also the womb. And so then, but the king said, "No, you should ask me for more." Then Buddha said, "Okay, now if you're slightly interested, then I can add more." Then, we believe that when you are enlightened, you get Ashta Siddhis, 8 powers to become different. When we talk about Hanuman jumping to Lanka, he became enormous, So that is supposed to be a quality of an enlightened person. An enlightened person can become big. We can multiply. So multiplying the anima, manima, garima, pratima, these all are the different 8 siddhis, what you get it. So this particular, Buddha used his skill of pratima, which is called pratima, yeah, which is to multiply yourself as a sculpture. So he multiplied into crores of Buddhas and asked, "Now you can give us 1 time's meal." Then the king realized, what a stupid question I asked him, So that is why I'm multiplying the story of Sharavati. So if you go to cave number 2, Ajanta Ellora, On the left wall, you see Buddhas painted many, many times, sitting Buddhas. That is to show the story. Yeah, then Buddha was dying. Only one disciple was with him. His name was Ananda. Buddha decided, okay, but Ananda was really in dilemma. He said, what am I doing? You are enlightened. You took us all the way. Now you are giving all this burden to me. So the story is like this. I don't know. My stories are stories. Don't question me later. So what Buddha did, Buddha said, okay, he took his begging bowl, transformed it into a shrine, kept it upside down. That is it. Transformation happened already. Then he made that into a stupa. He said, okay, now you can meditate over this. So now if you know that, what stupas are, you can relate it. I call this 18th sky. There is some fun in between. So if you can think why it is 18th sky, that's good for you. You need to think as a child sometimes. Yeah, then the cube started slightly becoming big, mixing up with stone. Mostly these stones are collected from old broken houses. Most of the time it is old Pune. If you have been, Pune has the highest number of coppersmiths. This is made of iron, and Rias actually bought this. This is with Rias. And if you can recognize this object, there's nothing much. The medium I started playing. So you can just imagine another artist which I could mention about it is Wolfgang, who made the milkstone. Yeah, so he's I think Wolfgang is one of the most important artists, which for me, a person who exhibited Poland. Yeah. He was a medical doctor. He lives in South India, and he collects pollen and exhibits it. I mean, you might see a tiny yellow mound in the gallery, but it might take 2 years for him to do it, because every morning you need to go and collect pollen, the real pollen, and exhibit that. Yeah, so I was thinking, you can, if you change the water into milk or blood or whatever it is, you can change the meaning. Yeah, another experiment with copper wood. Yeah, maybe this is the first cube related or Iran war. This was the first piece which I did. I did it in my school as a unconventional installation. I had a table which is a cube. I kept it on a vessel. Then I recreated. There is water in it and a small toy boat. If you put a lamp in it, it goes around with a noise. That noise is slightly very difficult to when if it is completely silent. And there's a red cloth which is with embroidery on it. I have written never enough. Slightly political, or again going back to Kochi. One thing which I learned, if you are working with a group or a community or in a new place, you don't have much control. That actually teach you when you do stone and all. The stone breaks whenever it wants. You don't have a choice. If you are really not careful of finding the stone, the right stone, good stone. Otherwise, if you take a random stone, start hitting, you might see, oh, this is really bad on the way. So it's similarly like that. These are the cloth which actually came from the shrines of that temple. So this was bundled and thrown away. Each cloth people offered to the goddesses as thinking or wishing something great to happen, and this all were lying down in the bag. So I just kept them all. I thought we'll do something with it, but as it is, it started working for me. I mean, more higher it is, again, the relationship with the nature and outside or inside is getting covered. And the curtain, usually the curtains on this windows are made out of cloth. So now this cloth is coming from shrine. It is supposed to be more auspicious. So you are not even supposed to touch it. Yeah, you know that. But when it's discarded, there's no much of use. So I just folded it and kept it, thinking of doing something, but nothing happened afterwards. It is 5:58. Yeah, this exercise is what you do regularly that make you to do when you get a chance to go and present yourself in a larger space. That helps. So when in Pune, I had a very small studio for some time. So I used to collect these medicinal bottles and make sculpture. I called it Monument for a Blind King. And this all story actually started connecting when I did the work in Kochi.
Mm-hmm. It also has a Joseph Beuys connection. The
stick. Yeah. And also the blind man and the tension, the moment if you touch it, it can fall apart.
Okay.
So it is, there are lots of story in Mahabharata and all about the blind king, right? Blind king is the most dangerous, metaphorically, if you say blind king, then better not to have a king, right? Mukilla Rajat, Murimukan Raja, it start from somewhere. Yeah. Then the playing around with the material, that is what another hobby which I have. I always wanted to do something with my hand. That becomes, sometimes it becomes a large piece, sometimes it won't. I mean, none of these pieces could be even kept properly. Now it is all broken and lying here and there. It is hard to maintain such things. Yeah, now then when I started carving stone, this is another attempt to do a human figure. As I said, when you start stone carving, there's no choice. You want to do a Khajuraho influenced figures. So I started carving it without any reasons. I don't have any clue why am I doing it. I worked on it for 2 years, believe me, true. It was a standing sculpture. And sometime somewhere during the process, I'd realized, okay, this is the Picasso's painting, Avignon. Yeah. That French name is too much. Beauties of Avignon. Yeah. It relates like that because there are two guys. One guy has a bag, so I try to do something like that. And I realized, no, why am I doing? There's no point. All that concept left completely away. I didn't have often. This hand broke down completely. Then suddenly I had a feeling. This is why I said, the seeing or looking and viewing all get mixed up when you do an artwork, because often you're doing it for you want to see it, because I want to see it. There is an excitement of seeing what I'm doing. That is why we need to complete it and get on it. Still, you don't know where you're going often, so often you're looking at it as another person. And then I realized I had in Pune, I happened to see some coconut leaves, Ola. Then I realized, that might be useful. I started playing around with it. Then when I related with this, something else happened. It's all became like seeing became an interrupted seeing, a voyeurist looking, like what Degas said. Degas was a voyeurist, right? So he was looking at something with a greed, with a sexual desire. So that is then I realized maybe when you put something against, all this voyeurist is never eye to eye. It's always, there's something in between. Maybe through a tree, behind a tree, the person look at it and watch it, or behind a pillar, or through a tree. All this happens. So when I put this Ola, I realized, okay, now I understood why it is. So this is all about seeing. I mean, all seeings are interrupted seeing. Either mentally you get interrupted, or visually you get interrupted, or your thought process muddling that viewing. All can happen, and that's exactly what I said when you exhibit something on windowsill. People looking from there, wind, crows, dogs, sound coming from the street. So that is what more important for me. I mean, we need to. It is kind of being self-aware about what are you doing, why are you sculpting. Yeah.
So
Nandakumarji, would you like to put the light there in your room?
I should.
I was not sure whether it was an installation attempt to go dark like a Banksy painting or something like that.
Just vanishing. The Unnikrishna did not something like that. Unnikrishna, he started in a daytime and then it was
Yeah.
I couldn't see him.
Can you hear?
No. No.
Sorry, my internet connection.
Yeah. Now it's fine, I guess.
Veda, internet പോയല്ലോ ലൈറ്റ് ഇട്ടു.
No, it's.
He has internet actually.
Yeah, he has actually. There is no problem.
We can hear and see you, Nandu.
Yeah, but he can't hear us. I'll just call him.
Yeah.
ഇന്റർനെറ്റ് ഉണ്ട്, കുഴപ്പമില്ല, കാണുന്നുണ്ട്, ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ലൈറ്റ് ഇട്ടാ മതി, കാണുന്നുണ്ട്.
Unmute, Nandakumarji, unmute.
Unmute you. Unmute.
Yes.
I'm not muted. You can hear me now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost an hour. Maybe we should discuss more and I can quickly. These all stone sculpture, you play around, you get something out and out. Yeah, this one was, there was one miniature sculpture exhibition in Kochi somewhere, about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is what I did for that exhibition.
This is Kamath curated.
Yes. Anup Kamath curated it.
Yeah.
So there's a small. These are two stones which I got. Somebody was building a home. I mean a wall. So I made a pond in one of that. So all wood canlib inspired art pieces.
Okay.
Yeah, this one was. I was never seen Tehri before, but I happen to be living very close to Tehri Dam now because I was reading MP Virendra Kumar's book, and he has a nice title for hold this issue about making Tehri Dam, and he said that Tehri Kuru Jala Samadhi, that was the Malayalam word.
Okay.
So it really struck me. So I thought, this is something like that in a small sculpture. Some photo experiments which I did. Oh,
yeah.
I can move it actually. Yeah, so when I started making pond, there are lots of stories. There are ponds we almost killed all the ponds in Kerala, and we really didn't understand how to maintain or manage water. So the story is, if you shut the puddles, if you don't have the puddles, you don't get water to the ponds. And if you don't have ponds, you will have enough water to the wells. And it is the well which feeds to aquifer. It's very important to have all of this. We hate, as a kid, we enjoyed it, having a puddle. But as we grown up, becoming more sensitive to all these things, and we didn't understand. We don't know how to manage water now. And so that is what actually happened also during the flood also, no? Because people living near the river, they don't even know how to swim. It's a joke. Oh, the second time when I did the Kochi exhibition, this was the piece I had in the pond. This is a bed and a pond. You know, whenever you say pond and bed, it relates with, right? Pond, bed of the pond, that's what we say. So it's a kind of sculpture which I did. And this bed, actually, I took it from Pune, which the bed which we were using, and which I started using it as my artwork. Another piece, the third sky. You can imagine why. Okay, now I can give you a clue. Why, you know, this is like a Russian doll. You know, it's endless thing. So there are actually 3 more, 4 parts inside, the same size. I mean, same type. And that is why the other one also, the one with 18 sky, the bowls, like a stupa which I made, there are actually 18 bowls inside. So if you open it up, it will become a huge installation. And when I made the chandelier first time, I exhibited it like this in Pune. My intention was, if it goes further, if somebody wants to install it, to cover it with concrete. So again, a blind king doesn't have to see the chandelier. Or putting concrete and covering the light in it. Something more performance based. Or at least if I can do half concrete and the rest is something, can have more fun. But that all can happen only if I install it somewhere. Restless Rest. Another, this I'm not convinced with. I'm just showing it what you guys think, because I made a few benches and I call it Restless Rest. It's more about kind of a warrior mode you need to have often, because you know a warrior or somebody at the frontier, the rest is always restless, and that is our mind. The restless as a political, as a class, they are the rest. So it play around with the word and something to do with my own house in Kerala. Remembering my mother, home is the mother. Few drawings. Yeah, I tried to do some minimal paintings, which I thought, you know, we after tantric painters, nobody seriously tried abstract tantric 3D paintings. I just tried a bit, and it just. This is inside the cube painting. Cross. Oh yeah, 2 more installation. I used to do installation. Sujit, this is the place you were in, Mahindra. So I used to do installation with. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, so, I used to do installation with students in that school. So these are the 2 site-specific installation which I did. Being in Pune, I made a Valia garden. I think when I asked who has the biggest ears in Pune, it is Ganesha, right? just fun. Then some more stone pieces. I think we can stop it there. No?
I think, yeah, we have time, 5 more minutes.
I mean, if it's
Yeah,
not me talking too much. Maybe if there is some questions or up to you, whatever way.
Yeah,
you want to hear me more?
No. We can ask question.
Endless.
No, it's actually interesting. Shanti wants to ask, yeah.
Nandu?
Yeah.
Thank you for telling us all, what an artist feels in the process of creating,
That is Christina. Hi, Christina.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So it's very, very important for students, just for common people, but for artists also to know how other artists think about their work and how they, all the process of creation, but there is one part in all of these that you have presented, all your work, part of it I understand. It's interesting when you mentioned Wolfgang Live and you said he influenced you in those pieces where you work with the stones or with the metal containers and with water, because I always thought that Indian art influenced him a lot. He's a very spiritual man. I got to meet him in New York long, long ago. But that's when you said he influenced you, and I then said, oh, I thought Indian art influenced him. And that was a very interesting thing to hear.
Yeah. Thank you, Christina. For others, Christina is a printmaker from Peru living in Mussoorie. If you are interested, I can send some pictures of her work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like to see.
Great printmaker. You should see. She does 10-meter big cloth and all as a printmaking.
Okay. Love to see.
Yeah, I don't think I need to answer to you, Christina. So.
No, I just want to mention the experience.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Shanti wants to ask something.
Hi.
Hi.
I just, there's a lot of religious symbolism seemingly in your work. And you did mention that when you grew up, the household, there was, there was this, whatever, tradition or I don't know. Are you also ritualistic or it's just, part of the art practice making a commentary, or does it come from your...
No, I think I am after now as a student or when I was young, maybe I will never had the courage to say that, but now I can say yes, I'm very ritualistic person. I don't know whether I believe in God and all, but whatever I doing, that spirit is there in it. It's a kind of seeking kind of attitude. Yeah.
I love that, especially the Kochi work where you have the door at the back and the, it's kind of like the shiveling at the very abstract.
Yeah, it is exactly. I wanted to make that shape, but I don't have a reason for it. It's almost shiveling, but then there is lots of myth and beliefs around a pot which you keep in some wishes, in some temples you keep a pot inside out. You keep it upside down.
Upside down.
So then only when you so all this relates, but then I realized this is again an extension of an empty womb. So, and it is repeating. There are 3 more pots inside, so which is unknown for the person who is seeing from outside. So maybe it is a gimmick, but I still like to have some fun around, playfulness in my pieces. Yeah, it is metal pieces, iron. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, how do you see Kossuth influence or Margaret in a way? Because the way you are talking about seeing, like in a different way of seeing something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, very much. Also, when I do painting, it is Kossuth and Dichirico. These all are the memories. Metaphysics is our area. I cannot get out of it. Whatever I do. So there are lots of people who actually yell at me saying you are such a ritual artist. So, but that's fine.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, can you share the wicked story about the crow?
About the
crow. You said there is a wicked story about the crow.
No, not wicked actually. No, crow is very pessimist we were, I mean, in the school when we were studying. So it is, as a pessimist, you always try to see something, try to project something negative in you. Yeah, so yeah, and, maybe it is being, we are not even, not lacking the awareness about things. That's why we are becoming pessimist. I will say, no, you just negate everything else. At least in my case, I don't want to take, I have seen many others, but I don't want to talk for them. I was very critical for most of the people. So it is a kind of crow which is going to hit them on the head. Some stories, I told you, stories I can make stories. Sorry.
And the hundreds of
And
snow,
Van
yeah.
Gogh's painting, last painting of Van Gogh did, you know, the crows on wheat field.
Yes.
So within 2 hours, he went and shot himself. So why the crow as a death, or and related with death all the time? Because whenever you do the annual ritual after the death, all related with crows.
Yes.
And that is the only bird mostly you'll see in Kerala.
In Bombay
Beautiful.
too. In
Bombay
Bombay.
too.
Now more peacock than crow. Now more peacock than crow now. Especially in our side, no? Palakkad.
Oh yeah, you can.
Because it's also part of climate change. I've recently read an article about that. You know, like it's because of
there are lots of myth about crow. Is one of the, as a child, you know, to feed them, they show the crow talking to crow. The first poem you study is about a crow. So all this, many things, not very serious. I mean, anyone can have any image like this. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. And also Bruegel's that hunters in the you were just mentioning that.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the crow as an animate object on an inanimate object. Actually, you know, I thought of it as
yes.
Or it could be both life and death on an inanimate object. Actually.
Thank you for this is the way we make stories. We hear from others and we share this as our story to others. Thank you.
Art is in the eye of the beholder. You know, that's always the saying, isn't it?
Exactly. It is the beholder who make masterpieces, not artists.
Right. My question to you is about the creative process. Actually, you know, when you get an idea or a concept, what prompts you to choose one medium over the other?
No, it is circumstance most of the time. I mean, you get. I believe it is also the time. You know, you don't know when you're starting working with a material. So now, actually, what I did for last 10 years, I'm not showing that at all. I worked when I was in Pune, maybe because of going to Ajanta Ellora and finding the stone and the coppersmith. When they going to coppersmith, you know, they use stone as a tool, and you'll find lots of broken stones there. All this part of old houses. When after dismantling, so I started collecting them. But now when I started teaching in Mussoorie, I realized you cannot carve those stones at all. So now I'm carving on wood. So it is, but I realize it's fine. I mean, as if you go through the studies and all, you can actually handle any material. That is not a issue. So I don't have it. But when I started working in stone, which actually calmed me down a lot. That's why it was a very good experience, because you cannot, even if you want to finish it in a day, it won't happen. You know, it will take your time. It mold you back. We are thinking that we are actually molding the stone, but it's the other way around it. It is actually molding you.
Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. Do you have a favorite material, or do you have a favorite medium?
Currently I'm working in wood, so wood is my favorite material. No other choice.
The frame with the material, the Vishnu Padmanabha Swami, did you make the frame as well?
No, I can't do that.
Okay.
That is a craftsman doing. I bought the frame.
The whole painting is done by you.
Painting is done by me. So this is again comes with whether I have to do everything by hand, or this is a craftsman doing the frame for me. That is quite impossible. We can do it, but we don't have that kind of energy to do a frame.
The painting was lovely, beautiful.
Thank you. I mean the frame, right? Frame is beautiful.
No, I meant the painting is beautiful.
So did you design the frame too?
you tell them how the frame needs to be made, or
yeah. No, you go and choose them, or you go and design them, give a design, then you can actually get done everything. You can see if a sculptor is becoming really popular, then there's no choice to do everything with own hand, for like Anish Kapoor and all, he just conceive it, someone else is making it.
Do you still have that chandelier?
Yeah, chandelier, yes, I have it. And I made everything, the copper, welded copper, each beads I joined myself, so I made it. So this is what we said, we call it a process art. So you keep on doing something without giving much mind. That relates with all of this medium. So when you're doing, you don't even know what is it going to. So there is a risk. You're actually jumping out of the wall without knowing what is there, but keep on doing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So most of the case, in my case, most of these things I can say, oh, yeah, I don't know whether it's worked. Maybe I like 2-3 pieces, but we always try to do more and do naughty things like this, or practice like that.
Very much Ivahase, no?
Yeah, very Ivahase.
Yeah, two of the works that really stood out for me was the first one, the steps in
the pond.
That is taking it to a totally different level, actually.
Yeah,
and you're thinking outside the box, literally, actually. And also that
not really. This was, for me, I was not excited when making it, because usually it can come, but this is a luck. You get, when you have an exhibition, you have 10 ideas in front of you, I'm making one of that. Worked, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes. For us, it is very critical. Okay, if you have a gallery, if you have an exhibition, if you know this is going to be sold, then the attitude might change. But for me, I don't have any of this problem, so I can just do whatever I want.
No, so for one of the exhibitions you had, you said you got a corridor, right? You had that lamp, street light at the. So did you have enough time to think of an exhibit for that space, or how did it work out?
Yeah, so it was interesting. Those days, Anita Dubey, as I said, she was the curator. So she said, I can give you 2,000 rupees. Do something. And we had a week. So Chavdi Bazaar in Delhi, you can actually, I bought the lamp for 1,000, maybe 500 rupees. And the post, there is some welders, just get it weld. I made it myself. So that's it. That's the expense. And we had a week to do it. So again, I was living in an artist community. So many of friends are here. So we used to discuss, we used to talk. Sometimes we share. Then we get, okay, which one you think is interesting? Kind of go through it. Then after all, it is your responsibility whether you choose street light or something else.
The second artwork was that balance, or from our perspective, it could be the Tulabharam too. The price.
Yeah.
Price of your life, kind of thing.
Anything. That is, again, you can decide. Well, often people said, why can't you keep two different things? Anita Dubey, actually, she was when she said, why can't we keep some object? I said, if I keep it, then I'm limiting. Maybe you should decide what to keep it. I have a picture of a friend sitting in that, and we are taking picture like Tulabharam. So that is all. I never wanted to complete the story. I would always want to challenge the viewer and
come up with the story then.
Yeah.
Andu, I would like to mention something.
Yeah, Christina. Yes, Christina.
About the piece, the lamp. The first time you install it, you did installation in Koshi. And what I want to make the point here is how interesting is how the artists work with the same piece in a different space, in a different time. Because from the first time you install it, just the lamp, and then you develop the story with other pieces, wooden pieces around, and this lamp hanging, but surrounded by, I think you call the piece or the installation the Blind King, right?
Yeah.
So interesting to me is how it changes with time and with places, you know, because
see now again one thing, Christina, if I've noticed, I'm not born to anyone. So you know, if I born to a gallery, so now if I exhibit it in one way that artwork, then I don't have the right to change.
Oh.
So this is still with me, so I can do whatever I want. So, but the pond one, I really think I even thought of how to exhibit that in a gallery, because that too had a huge ring as a handle. It is very beautiful, even if you keep it outside.
Okay.
Maybe I'll fill it with something and the stones. So some of them do have possibilities, not only on the site. I can actually transfer that into a gallery if somebody wanted.
It's nice, you can keep changing.
So Nandakumarji, here is a question from Prajakta. So she's asking, how do you see copper as a medium, like what you said about stone?
What you
Copper.
said the last thing?
How do you see copper as a medium? Like you said something about the stone, right? Stone is a stone.
Oh, right.
Molded.
Copper. Let me tell you a story, because I happened to go to Tate Modern Gallery once, and we were seeing, I mean, this is after started working with copper, yeah? Prajakta? Yeah. So there's one room for Carl Andre's sculpture. So you get in, there is nothing in that room. What Carl Andre did is a copper floor. So on that, you cannot touch that. You cannot touch, but you can walk with shoe. That sensitive copper is, you know, if you touch the copper with your naked skin, then that stays there forever. You cannot erase it. Of course, you can put it in acid or heat it up, then it will go off. Otherwise, that is the most human, according to me, the material, and that's the oldest. We had the copper sculptures in India long ago. You know, you can melt and make a sculpture out of it. Then it is it reacts in other way, because now people are started drinking water in copper bowl and all again. But every village you go, we usually collect water in copper pots. Plastic and stainless steel came now. So some medicinal values, nothing much, but for me it is the most moldable material also. You know, and maybe if somebody buy it, you know, we should give something valuable. Why should we give a iron bowl? Or I'm just, yeah. I think I answered it. Yeah. So it is another. If you look at that cube which I made, that has all mark made out of hand. Each of the mark are done by hand. So there are very few people who can do it. So when you buy a sheet of copper, you need to make that into a cylinder. Then they do that muttering. You call it in muttering in Marathi. In Bombay, Pune, we have more coppersmiths in Bombay. Then you need to beat it, hammer each of them. Then that is why the sound comes when they make it. Then they are also pot and aluminium pot. When you buy, you see that. Then you need to put that in a machine to make it straight again, to mold and make a cube out of it. It's a nice process. I tried to do the muttering, but impossible to do it. You know, we might hit on other. We might be able to do stone sculpture, but these kind of things are impossible for us. So I'm falling in love with copper. That is the few reasons. And later on, I saw Carl Andre also made copper cubes, by the way. I don't want to take complete credit. Almost same size. I had 3 pictures. I had 3 pictures from different artists who did copper cubes. Mm-hmm. One is really big size, somewhere in US. And recently, a friend of mine, after seeing my work, he saw an exhibition somewhere else. He said, "Oh, no, there's somebody else doing copper cube." I said, "Okay, fine. We can also, it's fine. I don't want to, I mean, it's a cube anyway. It's not a big, it's a, and if I sell the copper cube, I want to sell each of them in different way, different price. So if one is 5,000 rupees, at least 5,000 or 1 rupees lesser than that, and I'll be selling. I will never sell it in the same price.
Does the cube which saw the Tiananmen Square adds cost to it, or the cost reduces?
That or maybe my mood and mind that day or the person who is asking. I mean, this is the way you are selling art, right? I'm not joking. This is a statement about art selling the art. Sorry if I'm being mean to anyone. Who decides the cost of art? How do you decide?
Yeah. There is one question for you from Kumaraswamy Arali, who's another sculptor who presented in our show a few weeks back.
Marshall Duchamp is an artist who I read it actually. So he said that any object could be an artwork. So the moment you choose the object, or reason to choose the object, or it could be a meaningless object. So if you look at the most important work is a urinal, right? So if we can make that as an artwork, then I can also put anything, a chandelier as an artwork. Well, how can you say chandelier is an artwork? It's a chandelier. So that is why the connection I'm making. So I'm making random things and I'm saying this is art. How does it work?
Yeah, yes, understood, sir. Thank you.
When you spoke about the cubes, you said, when you look at it as a cube, it can be the Kaaba stone. When you put a hole, it becomes the hundi. And I don't see the cross. How do you see the cross?
Okay. Six planes. If you open it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 on the sides. That will make it.
Okay.
I mean, now again, I told you I have 100 reasons to make a cube.
I understand.
If you take the interior of cube, these all are corners again. Yeah. So if you keep 8 corners together, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 8 corners together, you get a cube. So from that, I think that I have full understanding of the corner which I made. So that it is connecting with this. That is why the cube becoming more a reason for me to make it. And I believe that I can actually do someone else's. I was talking to Mr. Iker, who is here present. You can actually do someone else's art if you have a different reason for it, or if you can add something on it. That is that much of freedom you have as an artist. It's more of a concept.
Thank you.
I mean, indirectly, if I say indirectly, we are copying unknowingly a lot. Or we are getting influenced by unnecessary from others. We can debate about it. I mean, it might take long time.
So does Picasso have any influence on your cubist thoughts?
No, really.
So Nandakumar-ji, like 2 observations, not questions, like on 2 of the works, which I felt very relevant socially. One was that blind boy with a what do you call say skating shoes, right? Skating shoes. Like, so I felt there was a great message. Like you have a physical disability by birth. So when you have a physical disability, the concept is how to make them at par with normal people. But you gave a different message. You have to actually make them much better than a normal person. So that, so if they have to overcome the disability, you should be able to have them move much faster than a normal person, so that they can catch up with the rest of the stuff. So that it's easy to help them. Like
I mean, great. Thank you.
Padamsi and whoever helped them. And the next one was that Buddha's story about that bowls. Somehow it reminded me about the farmer protest now. Like the king is ready to give everything to one person, but then you suggested that like give the bowl full for everybody.
That's good. So socially relevant and politically charged. Yeah. Also, the box work which you mentioned now, like you sell it to people in a different price. So sometimes you don't need to even sell that box. That idea you can sell, no? Like what Boltanski says that one of his work bought by some collector, and he it's actually a cloth, old cloth in a thing. So there are many white cloth in it.
Yeah.
So after a point, the white become yellow, no, like because of the acid, this thing. So somebody asked him, like the collector asked him that, like, see, after some time the cloth become white. So what to do? Oh, sorry, yellow. So what to do? Then he answered that, like, you can change the material, whenever you wanted to, any color, not even white, because I'm selling you idea, not the material. So you can change that.
So, no, I think the similar thing happened when Riaz, when we saw this cube, we were talking about it. So yeah, that these all were this actually. I when I say there are lots of ideas behind this, all added by different people's opinion about it. So Riaz said something similar to me also.
Yeah,
but I don't exactly remember.
So we can buy one of your cube from here.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember saying, you give, I give you one, and you can make more of it. That's what we said.
Yeah.
So instead of having one, you make another 10 more. So you have So then we can have a cube traveling all over the world. Somewhere else, someone else is making 10 cubes. Someone else is making 10 cubes. Yeah. So it can go further. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You're selling idea.
Yeah.
I think
I was checking the Facebook, but no specific questions. Few people have come and appreciated the works. That's all. Yeah. Okay. So unless anyone has any further questions or comments, can we pack for the day?
When is your next presentation, Nandu?
Maybe next year.
Next year? Oh.
Who knows? We don't know.
But you have.
But we do this in the class all the time. If you want to join my class with students, this is what all happens.
Mr. Stefan wants to tell something. 1 second. Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying that Mr. Nandu has an exhibition coming up.
Oh. Okay, Stepan is teaching with me in Woodstock School. He's a painter, lived in India for a long time. Great painter and great person to work with. Also, Mussoorie. We are planning a huge Mussoorie exhibition, so we'll see what happens. But this October was the date which we thought nothing didn't work.
Okay.
But gradually. Yeah, this exhibition, yes. Yeah. I think you all know that, Sujit, Bose's exhibition, which is coming up.
Yeah.
Vasudhaiva Kudu.
Yeah, Vasudhaiva
I wanted to make one very small comment, observation. Nandu, you mentioned the Gandhiji as a great artist, and you've talked a lot about Joseph Beuys. So just the connection between social sculpture of Joseph Beuys, in one sense, our nation of India is a social sculpture started in one way, inspired by Gandhiji's movements. And then what you ended up with another example of a social sculpture where you are having these cubes multiplied and involving others.
By the way, Adul Dodia actually did a painting where Gandhi and Joseph Beuys together. So we had this idea going on quite a long time, I think, that Gandhi as a, but thanks, Stepan.
So you can involve us in this particular social sculpture of multiplying your cubes.
Yeah, very much, anytime. I can send you the measurements. 6 into 6 into 6, that's it, inches.
Great.
And you can decide the material medium, take a picture, then let us share it.
An open cube.
Open cube. White cube, okay, gallery. Now, cube. The another wonderful thing with cube, you cannot make you cannot use it as a brick. To make a house, you need the measurement of a brick, because cube, when you put, it is harder to hold it together. So Karl Andre exhibited bricks. Actually, Karl Andre's greatest works are bricks, which I really appreciate. So cube is completely, it is not functional in that way. What we consider art, when you take away an object from its function, it becoming art. It's another way of looking at art. So that's what in a way I'm doing. The cube is not functional. You cannot make a house with cube. Yeah, you can maybe.
So that I think with that we conclude. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Nandakumarji, for
Thank you,
displaying your
Sadish.
works.
Thank you, Sujit. Thank you,
Thank you, Nandaji.
Thank you, all the Bandhukal and friends.
Yeah, so the video is the video is available in the Facebook. I have put in the chat box /Niracharthu, facebook.com/Niracharthu in our page. And I would send to most of the people who are in our group. The video is already posted there. Thank you very much. Look forward to see you all next Saturday. Yeah, thank you.
Bye. Thank you all. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, Nandaji.
Bye. Bye.